Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Israel's ambassador to the UN, Danon, will deliver a brief statement about last week's horrific terror attack in Washington, D.C. He will also comment on the latest developments in the region and will take your questions. If you do have a question, please remember to state your name and outlet. Thank you.
Good morning. Last week, two young people on the diplomatic staff at Israel's embassy in Washington, D.C., Yaron Lishinsky and Sarah Lynn Milgram, were murdered on the street as they were leaving the Capital Jewish Museum. They were a couple. Yaron was planning to propose this week in Jerusalem. They were gunned down in cold blood by a terrorist screaming, "Free Palestine." This was an act of anti-Semitic terrorism. However, the gunman was the last link in a much longer chain, one that stretches from hate-filled protests on social media, lies, and to the halls of the United Nations. When UN officials like Mr. Tom Fletcher accuse Israel of genocide, when they irresponsibly claim that, quote, and I quote it now, 14,000 babies will die in the next 48 hours, they are not engaging in advocacy, they are engaging in incitement. That claim was a lie. Mr. Fletcher quietly retracted it, but the damage was already done. It is no coincidence that this statement was made just 2 days before Yaron and Sarah were murdered. We cannot ignore the role that reckless remarks play in fueling violence. Mr. Fletcher and others like him must be held accountable. Meanwhile, Israel continues to act with restraint and responsibility, even in the face of lies. We are facilitating humanitarian aid into Gaza through two mechanisms: the existing track crossings and a new system created in coordination with the US and international partners. Since May 19, almost 9,000 tons of aid have entered Gaza, carrying food, medical supplies, and shelter equipment. In the past 2 weeks, 4 new aid distribution centers were established inside Gaza. 2 of them are already open. Those centers distribute food packages to thousands of families, despite Hamas establishing roadblocks and checkpoints to prevent civilians from reaching the aid. As we speak, there are more than 400 trucks already on the Gaza side of the fence, waiting to be distributed, but the UN has failed to pick them up. We opened the crossings, we provided safe routes for those trucks, but the UN did not show up. So let me be clear. The UN must stop spreading panic and start moving aid. Put your ego aside, pick up the aid, and do your job. Finally, as negotiations for the release of the hostages continue, the facts remain. Israel accepted the most recent deal, Hamas rejected it. We will not stop defending our people. We will not abandon our hostages who have been held for 600 days now. We will not apologize for fighting back against terror. Thank you.
Ambassador, hi, thank you very much. Yvonne Moriarty, News. Israel's losing support amongst European allies. Your own former Prime Minister has accused Israel of carrying out war crimes. There are hostage families protesting on the streets of Tel Aviv. Are you feeling the pressure now to stop bombing the people of Gaza?
Well, we are not bombing the people of Gaza. We are fighting a terrorist organization. And as I said very clearly, we have 2 goals in this war. We haven't finished the job. We will not finish the war leaving behind 58 people. There are families waiting for them, and we are committed to finish this war by making sure the hostages are back and Hamas is out of the game.
Ambassador Xu with China Central Television. My question is on West Bank. You said many times here that Israel is the state of democracy and rule of law, and this is what exactly happened with our Chinese colleague in West Bank last weekend during the what many people call Jerusalem Day. His equipment has been damaged and he has been verbally discriminatively abused. Can you explain a little bit what kind of rule of law is this, especially the law enforcement, when they saw those kind of things, they left?
So I cannot relate to what you are showing me, but I would appreciate if you send me the information, and we were going to look into this incident. But we are a democracy, and we are proud of it.
But should the police protect journalists there?
So there is freedom for journalists in Israel, and we have seen it all over the years. If there was an incident, we will look into that.
Mr. Ambassador, Amiri with the Associated Press. Can you talk about what happened yesterday at the Gaza Humanitarian aid site? The UN says 47 were wounded, apparently by Israeli fire. Gaza Health Ministry says 48 wounded, 1 killed. What happened yesterday?
So first, let me make it clear. We don't run those centers. We provide security for the surrounding area. As for yesterday, it was the first day. You know, there were a few riots. It took the American teams some time to take control of the situation, but I can say it out loud, we didn't shoot anyone over there. There were like reports about helicopters shooting people and those kind of things. It didn't happen.
Not even warning shots?
No, not by us. Not by us.
Ambassador Kristen Salumi from Al Jazeera English. One of the speakers we're expecting to hear from at the meeting today is an American surgeon who's been in Gaza and has written and spoken publicly about his experience there, saying that he witnessed children deliberately targeted and shot, often in the head, during the ceasefire even. How would you respond to the allegations that he's raised that Israeli soldiers have been taking the lives deliberately of children there?
So I will listen to his words. You know, I think it's important to bring briefers from both sides. We have asked that there will be briefer that will speak about our suffering. Unfortunately, it will not happen today. I hope it will be more balanced in the future meetings. But I agree with you. There is suffering in Gaza, but the blame is on the shoulders of Hamas. Hamas that started the war, and Hamas that is not willing to lay down their weapons and release the hostages. So there will continue to be suffering until Hamas will understand that they will not stay in Gaza. Yes, please.
Now that the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation is up and running, is Israel planning to still allow the UN to deliver aid into Gaza, or will you make a
So at this stage, we have both tracks. You know, I call it the old one, which is the tracks, and the UN should move faster and be more helpful on this issue. They complain a lot, and they should be more cooperative. And at the same time, there is I would call it the US centers. But I think the problem is that some people look at it as a competition, and I think it shouldn't be the case. I think the UN should put their ego aside and cooperate with the new mechanism as well.
And then can I just clarify your remarks on Tom Fletcher? Are you blaming him for the deaths of the 2 embassy staff in DC?
So I think he is responsible for inflaming the situation, and I will elaborate on that. First, he came to the Security Council and used the term genocide. That was irresponsible. That was not his role, no legal claim for that. Then he continued and blamed us for killing 14,000 Palestinian babies, which was a lie. It didn't happen. And only 2 days ago, he put out another provocation saying that there are 10,000 trucks waiting to enter Gaza. That's another provocation. You know, if you line up 10,000 trucks from the border with Gaza, it will actually be a line until the border with Lebanon. From where he's bringing those numbers? He should be more responsible when he puts out those statements. Thank you very much.